Des, who needs this win more, Notre Dame or Wisconsin?
Oh, well, that's a good question, Max. I would say probably Wisconsin, simply because they already got a blemish on their record. They lost up in Camp Randall against Penn State at the beginning of the season, so they're 1-1. They need a big signature win. Obviously, it's a neutral site game, but it's still, on the road per se for them. I think they need it. Obviously, Notre Dame, they're undefeated, but they haven't looked great. And, so the expectations for Notre Dame, they haven't reached those heights yet. But I would just say Wisconsin. When you got Graham Mertz, the quarterback, don't forget, guys, last year, he started off the season on fire. Like his first game, he almost pitched a perfect game. Had 1 incompletion, 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions. This year, no touchdown passes so far, a couple of interceptions. So I just think perception-wise, Wisconsin needs this win. Like I said, already got a blemish on their record. To be able to come here in Chicago and take on the Fighting Irish, who, whether you like it or not, they're undefeated, would be a big boost for the Wisconsin Badgers. So I would say that the Badgers need this win a little bit more than Notre Dame.
Des, what do you make of the struggling powerhouses in college football? The likes of Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma, and the USC Trojans. Don't answer the USC one, though.
So I ask, why'd you ask?
He can't help himself, that's why.
I tell you what, Key, listen, two of the three are really starting, new quarterbacks. Obviously, Clemson's DJ, he's played last year, but, to get the keys to the bins for the whole season is different than coming in and just, spelling the quarterback for 2 games because he's hurt, which is what happened last year when Trevor Lawrence got hurt. So now you know that this is your team, this is your offense, then the expectations are a lot greater. And then you look at Ohio State, too, C.J. Stroud, the freshman quarterback. So you're looking at some young quarterbacks, not a lot of experience. The offenses have been struggling. And then we saw what happened to Clemson's offensive line. Now, guys, check this out. So Clemson played Georgia, right? So we're all like, oh, man, Georgia, they got one of the best defenses in the country. Okay, so that's why they did what they did to Clemson's offense. But then when you see the same thing happen with Georgia Tech, you're like, whoa, wait. This is incredible. What's going on with this offense? So I think that offensively, you look at the Tigers, their offensive line got to get much better. They started 2 freshmen earlier in the season, so there's a lot of inexperience there. And then when you look at Ohio State, C.J. Stroud just never really, to me, caught his stride into the second half of the games in which we've seen him play, whether it's the Minnesota game or the Oregon game. That's when he seemed to really catch his stride. So I would say the struggling offenses. Now, the one that's a surprise is Oklahoma. That one is surprising me because I didn't think their offense would look the way it's looked. Obviously, Oklahoma's had defensive issues for years. They're looking a little bit better. They're still undefeated. They're going to have a big game tomorrow night against West Virginia, though.
Des, tell me, what's wrong with their offense? What are you seeing?
Which team are we talking about?
Oklahoma. When you say Oklahoma, you say you're worried about their offense. Yeah, what's wrong with it?
I guess because, Jay Will, what happens, and, you know this better than most, and Keyshawn Will, once you've had like a really good, season, then the next season the expectations are greater, and they expect you to take a leap. And I just think that offensively, they haven't looked great. You mean to go out there and struggle the way they struggled a week ago against a Nebraska team that, a lot of people put them out to pasture. Like, they're not even talking about the Cornhuskers no more, but the Cornhuskers came out there, punched Oklahoma in the mouth, and they got into like a 4-quarter brawl. And, they didn't respond well. They ended up winning the game by a touchdown, but it's not what you expect from the Oklahoma Sooners. You got Lincoln Riley. He's an offensive guru, a brilliant offensive mind, calling plays and designing things against defenses. And they did not perform against a Nebraska team that you would think Oklahoma's offense has much more talent, that, that they can out-athlete the Cornhuskers defense. And they weren't able to do it at all. So I'm really curious to see now how they're going to match up against a West Virginia team that's coming in there with a tremendous amount of confidence from the game that they played a week ago against Virginia Tech.
Des, I want to go back to your game day game that you guys have this weekend. Obviously, huge game. Notre Dame, number 12 in the country, against Wisconsin, number 18. Wisconsin, 6.5-point favorite in this ball game. What kind of challenge is it going to be for Jake Cohn to come back to Wisconsin where he left to try to get this win on the road?
Yeah, that's a good question because I think emotionally, he's going to be a mess. I think he's going to be a mess initially because he's playing against some guys who used to be his teammates. I mean, guys that he used to go to battle with every time they took the field up there in Wisconsin. So now he's going up against those teammates. But then the flip side is he's also going up against a coaching staff that he probably feels as though didn't have as much confidence in him, which led him to Notre Dame. That's why he transferred from Wisconsin. So I think it's like bittersweet. You want to go out there and prove that, you're better than Graham Mertz, the quarterback that they chose to be their starter, and go out there and handle your business. So he wants to, have a great game, but emotionally, he got guys out there who were his friends, who he used to hang out with, who he used to go to battle with. So it's going to be an interesting mix. But once the dust settles and you get like those first snaps under your belt, it's all about execution, all about seeing what they're trying to do to defend you and then trying to go out there and handle your business.
Desmond, before we let you go, Penn State's win over Auburn is the celebratory moment of the week brought to you by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate. Yeah. Championship savings for the win. After that win, where is Penn State? Yeah. They've beaten 2 ranked teams in the playoff conversation.
Hey, Max, I tell you what, I like this Penn State. I liked Penn State coming into the 2021 season. When we were on game day, I actually picked Penn State to beat Wisconsin because I thought they would be one of the most improved teams from a year ago. I saw the Big Ten Media Days, and when I watched the Penn State players speak, they talked about what happened a year ago. Don't forget, they started out 0-5, like 5 L's in a row, but then they finished the season with 4 wins. And it told me about how resilient this team was and what they looked forward to coming into the 2021 season. So when I listen to guys like Jahan Dotson, the fantastic receiver they get, talk about their mentality coming to this season, I say, you know what? James Franklin got these guys ready. And they're coming out to make a point. They're going to try to make a statement and prove that what happened a year ago, forget about that. That's not who we are. And that's their slogan. We are. So what they did is they, like, every opportunity they get, they're going to take full advantage of it. Really impressed with Penn State. They won that game. And I don't know if you guys, watched it, but they won that game despite some horrendous officiating. Like, I couldn't believe that some of the calls that those officials made in Happy Valley. But they handled their business. James Franklin's group was a resilient group. They stayed focused, and I like where they are right now as far as the college football playoff conversation is concerned.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.